Ebles II, also called Eble or Ebale, was the second Count of Roucy of the House of Montdidier. He was the son and successor of Hilduin of Montdidier and Alice, daughter of Ebles I of Roucy. He is famous for his participation in the Reconquista, as well as for being one of the unruly barons of the Île-de-France subjugated by King Louis VI while he was still a prince. His life and character are summed up by Suger in his History of the Reign of Louis VI. Ebles was a man of great military prowess. Indeed, he became so bold that one day he set out for Spain with an army of a size fit only for a king. His feats of arms only made him more outrageous and rapacious in pillage, rape and all over evils. Spanish Crusade of 1073. On the 30th of April 1073, Pope Gregory VII authorized a new crusade against the Muslims in Spain. In the bull, addressed to all the princes in the land of Spain, Gregory asserted papal suzerainty over the Iberian Peninsula. We believe the Kingdom of Spain to have been from antiquity the rightful property of St. Peter, and informed them that he had ceded this right to Ebles of Roucy. The negotiations between Ebles and the Holy See had been conducted by Gregory as legate before he became pope on the 22nd of April, and his letter makes clear there had been prior letters between Ebles and Pope Alexander II. Ebles made a pact with the Holy See whereby the lands he conquered in Spain would be held by him as a papal fiefdom for the honor of St. Peter. 4 fragments of bulls issued by Alexander granting the plenary indulgence for engaging in a holy war have been customarily dated to the campaign against Barbastro but may belong to that of Ebles. Ebles was probably a relative of Sancho Ramirez, King of Aragon, both descending from the Dukes of Aquitaine. On the 25th of May, Sancho Garcia IV, the ruler of Navarre, and his neighbor Ahmed al-Muqtadir, the ruler of Zaragoza, concluded an alliance by treaty against the planned crusade. For reasons unknown, the crusade never took place, or at least left no record of its accomplishments, which must in any case have been meager. According to one historian, the crusade may have been frustrated by Gerald of Ostia, papal legate, cardinal, and Cluny, as part of the efforts of the Abbey of Cluny to support the Kingdom of Leon Castile in its rivalry with the Kingdom of Aragon. The papacy under Alexander and Gregory supported the Aragons, and at least some of Alfonso VI of Castile's actions in 1073 can be seen as a response to the projected crusade. The appointment of Gerald, a former Grand Prior of Cluny, and the Archdeacon Raimbald as legates in Spain may have been intended originally by Alexander II to appease Alfonso VI, his predecessor, Sancho II, by assuring them that their claims on the pariahs of Zaragoza were not in jeopardy. Upon becoming pope, however, Gregory removed Gerald from this position and instated Hugh Candidus, a veteran of the Crusade of Barbastro and a friend of the King of Aragon. In February 1074, Gregory was busy pushing Sancho, a recognized papal vassal since 1068, to act against the Muslims. Sancho at some point took as his second wife Felicia, perhaps the sister of Ebles. Feudal conflict in France. According to Suger, the tyrannical, the valiant and turbulent Baron Ebles of Roucy and his son Guischard frequently plundered the archdiocese of Reims, and over 100 formal complaints against Ebles were made to the crown during the time of Philip I. His son, the future Louis VI, received 2 or 3 complaints and gathered an army of 700 knights from the most noble and valiant of French lords, and entered the district of Reims, where he fought Ebles vigorously for the next 2 months, resting his army only on Saturdays and Sundays. Louis made war on all the barons of the region because they were allied by family ties to Ebles, who he describes as the great men of Lotharingia. The prince, on the advice of his councillors, only left the region after Ebles had sworn oaths to respect the peace of the churches and given hostages. Negotiations over the possession of the castle of Neufchâtel were left off for a later date. When Thomas de Maille came into possession of the powerful fortress of Montaigu by marriage, Ebles joined with Enguerrand de Beaufort to expel him, while they were attempting to surround him with a wattled stockade, and force him to capitulate through fear of slow starvation. Thomas escaped to the court of Prince Louis and, having bought off his advisers with gifts, convinced the prince to come to his defense. Ebles, respecting his previous oaths, refused to make war on the prince. After Louis destroyed the blockade of Montaigu, the Allies turned on him. The princely army and the army of Ebles and Enguerrand menaced each other with trumpets and spear rattling across a river for 2 days before the prince impetuously charged. Impressed by Louis's bravery, the rebels made the peace. Pope Gregory wrote to Ebles after the deposition of Archbishop Manasses I of Reims in 1081, asking him to resist the latter's claims. Around 1082, Ebles donated his section of the road at Mortsauf to the Abbey of St. Martin at Pontoise. Anna Comnena, in the Alexiad, records the marriage of the youngest daughter of Robert Guiscard to a certain Ebles, a very illustrious count. This daughter was Cibola, the wife of Ebles of Roucy.